Joe got his new Helix in from Hoyt. We're going to set that up today. Just got the strings in from ABB. That's one thing I would always recommend is buy the best strings you can afford. I don't know if you guys remember those Fast Flight strings they had back in the day, but those things would stretch 1/4 inch a day, it seemed like. Here all the time twisting those up. Today's strings are so much nicer if you get the best strings you can afford. And so we're going to put those on, set this bow up, and paper tune it. See how that goes. Got a quick tip I want to show you here. Last week's blog, a guy said that he had to sight in his lighted nocks. He'd have to sight them in different than the standard arrows. And one thing I've done a little bit different, the weight on those lighted nocks is a lot different than my G nocks. So I think these are like 7 grains, G nock is, and the lighted nock is like 22. So if everything's under 30 yards, that's probably fine. You could shoot either or, but anything over 30, it's going to start affecting your arrow. So what I did was just I just started weighing different things to try and get the same weight. And of course you want it on the back of the arrow, just like the nock. Otherwise you're changing your FOC, so you don't want that. But I got these with this wrap. I just weighed a few different things. With this wrap, I've got these down to, I think, within a few tenths of a grain. So anything out 50, 60, 70 yards should be right on. Not that you're going to shoot that far out of deer, but if you like target shooting, it's about 340.6 right there. And that's 340.4. So we're within 2/10 of a grain. That's plenty good for heck competition. So that's what I do for my lighted nocks. Well, we've got to run out and do another 60-yard challenge. Inquiring minds want to know, how lucky was I last week? I'm going to say pretty lucky. I think that was an act of God. So we're going to go shoot another group, see how we do. All right, bottom row, second dot from the left, same as last time. Now remember guys, shooting in the wind here. Winky used that excuse. I get to use it as well. He compared me to a cyborg, so I better do some good shooting here. Look at that. It's 80-mile-an-hour wind. I can't believe I'm shooting in this. Just to make Bill feel better. Maybe a little less than 80, possibly. Realistically, a good benchmark for the groups at this distance, well, any distance, is I do kind of like minute of angle. So like a 1-inch group at 10, 2-inch at 20, 3-inch at 30, and so on. So 60 yards if you're shooting a 6-inch group, I mean, that's pretty good shooting, really. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I'd like to cut that in half and shoot like a 3-inch group. But all right, last shot. I need that wind to die down. Come on now. Ooh, I think I heard a little carbon smack there. That couldn't be all bad. Let's go look again, see what we got. Now remember, this is 60 yards shooting an 80-mile-an-hour wind. You know, just for reference, Bill. Again, these 3 right here, solid. This one just a couple, maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches off that. So, but there again, I'm more than happy with that group. Hopefully Bill doesn't see this, because I think I could be fired after this. I'm gonna have to beg for my job. All in good fun though.
Realtree's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Nikon, Ozonics, Redneck Blinds, Wasp Archery, America's Best Bowstrings, Hoyman Tree Saws, RTP Outdoors, Spot Hog Releases, and Realtree.
Alright, so the first order of business, we're going to replace these strings with the ABB strings. So what I'm going to do is just mark the cam right here on the inside, even with the limb. And then you replace those one at a time, and you can see if you need to adjust them by looking at the cams. Alright, we'll start out with the string. We'll do the cable last. Alright, we've got one cable on. So now we'll check our cam rotation again. Right on, right on. So far no adjustment needed. On to the last cable. Okay, strings and cables are on. Now we'll just check the cam rotation again. And it is deadly, just like from the factory with the ABB strings. You can see them right there. Alright, now we're going to adjust the poundage here. Joe wants about 65 right in there. Usually I'll mark these limb bolts so if your Allen wrench slips out or something, you know where you left off, but you got to adjust these evenly, of course. There's a half. One and a half. Two on the bottom. Alright, now we've got to time the cams. We've got a draw board for this, or we have help. So we'll just come to full draw, start to let down, and see if one side is leaving before the other. That side's off, right? Bottom?
The bottom one's off, the top one's
touching. Alright. Alright, let's adjust that. So if you guys didn't see, I adjusted the cam lean on the yoke. I just put one twist on one side, took a half twist off the other, and that affected the timing just a little bit. So what do you got there?
just about even.
One adjustment was a twist and a half tuck. So alright, now let's go set it up and we'll head out and paper tune it. Okay, we got the bow leveled up. Now we'll go ahead and put the rest on, set the knocking point, and put the sight on. 16s, a lot of them do 13, which is as far as that. Alright guys, here's one thing we've got to adjust. Our bow's level, we've got a level on the string here, and look at the sight. It's way off level. So we've got a third axis adjustment on that. We've got to get that leveled up. Alright, I like to tie in my knocking points. I used to just put a tie-in on the bottom and then my D-loop. It would give you just a little bit of down pressure on the front of your arrow if you're shooting real steep downhill or something. But I started just putting them on top and bottom, so that's what I do now. Well, the only thing you get with your tied in knocking points is you're going to get a little wider D-loop, which I like. It's easier to clip your release on it, but it might take a little getting used to. On Winky's blog last week, there was a good tip on there. A guy noticed Bill kept tightening his field points, and he said put some string wax on the threads, works really good, which I've never thought of that. I always use a temporary Loctite, but I tried it, actually works pretty good. So good tip, thank you for that. All right, we got the preliminary setup done. We're just going to fire a couple arrows through paper here and see if we need to make any more adjustments. And once we get her paper tuned, we'll head out to the range with her, get it sighted in. Let's see what we got here. I like to start out about 6 feet on a paper tune, 6 to 9 right in there. Right tare means the rest needs to go to the left, which... Alright guys, here's the finished setup. That's what we ended up with right there. These were our last 3 shots. These 2, and that was the last one. Pretty well shooting a bullet hole. So the only test we'll probably do in addition to that is the walkback test. That's where you shoot at like 5 feet and then go clear back to say 50 and make sure you're hitting same left and right all the way back. So we'll do that as well, and then he's just got to sight it in. This is the slider, so he can just sight in 20, go shoot 50 or 60, make that mark, and then find the sight tape that fits. So we're ready to go shooting. We're going to go shoot the 3D course. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you on the next vlog.